across the word, everybody, in Portugal, and I'm now headed to Long Beach to kick this video off. I'm really excited. I'll just keep it really short. Basically, last year I started helping Tuerck out with some driving coaching, a little bit of chassis setup, and utilizing a car that they have that's amazing. It's probably my favorite car in Formula D and my favorite driver. So we're gonna go help him out and work this year to push towards the championship. We are gonna get the championship. We're fighting hard for it. And basically headed to Long Beach now to go out for media day, get Ryan situated in the car, comfortable. He's got a lot of changes going on in the chassis and the tire and suspension and all sorts of different things. So we got our work cut out for us, but I'm really excited to go check out the team, work with Tuerck in this awesome car, and you know, the whole Papadakis team. So I'm on my way. Let's see how it goes.
I know.
Oh, did I just do something? Was that me?
Yeah, you started.
I started the video?
Yeah.
With this as a record button?
Yeah, that's it.
What?
Pretty cool.
That's so cool.
Yep.
All right, we're here with Lorette.
Yay!
And how you feeling out there? How you feeling out there?
Not that question. Not that
How you
question. We
feeling?
don't ask that question because that's the most boring question on the planet.
That's why I asked you that.
I know.
I'm setting you up.
He knows that I hate
We
that
don't want to
question.
talk about feelings. Yeah.
What's
we
the
do
what's
talk
the
about emotions?
what's the
and
grid
feelings.
like out there?
It's fun.
It's fun?
Yeah, there's a lot of energy. Slate is clean.
That's right.
I feel like all the boys coming in are like, yep, this is my year. They have the confidence. A lot of them have found their fun, and they're trying to not take it so seriously, which is going to be difficult. I think as they're sitting out here on Tuesday, they're like, listen, we need to have fun. We need to have a good time. Once we start getting in our head and taking this too serious, it starts to slip. But I wonder if that's easier to apply here on Tuesday before the Saturday of the season opener.
Do you think not having all the rigs set up and perfect and having the whole rigmarole of motorsports helps that morale?
Yeah, the rigmarole.
Yeah.
Yeah, the rigmarole. I think so. I think right now it's light, it's easy, it's breezy.
It is
But
breezy.
It is breezy, literally. But I think once we come into Saturday morning and the cars start firing up, I think the heart rate starts coming up and warrior mindset, right? It has to kick in now.
It happens for real then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree.
Yep. I'm
When you're at
excited.
the line, it's different.
Yeah, and then you get to, for me, I get to the line and go the other way. I start like whoop, 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 like really
Sure.
calm. Things get quiet.
Yeah.
It's the opposite.
Yep.
I go into like hibernation mode to go drift instead of like elevated.
Are you sad you're not lining up this
Nope.
year? Nope. You don't feel sad?
Nope.
I'm sad you're not lining up.
I'm happy to fight for a championship from the other side.
Okay.
Imagine I can get one driving and coaching. That's like
Yeah.
the cream of the crop for me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So how's your driver leveling up to
Good.
that plan?
Good. We've changed a lot on the car, and he has also had a lot of partners change this year, so
Yep.
a lot of differences, and I'm happy to be here to try to walk him through it all.
Good.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
He's probably on the phone with his wife or
With
kid
Shanny?
or somebody.
Talking to Shanny?
Yeah.
Or baby
He's
Roman?
smiling, so it's somebody he enjoys.
It's family. Cute. Yay! Long Beach. Oh,
Any changes or anything going on? Media day.
Yeah, so we're here media day, helping Tuerck, doing some coaching and helping him get the chassis set up really well. He's got new tire, new suspension, and a lot of different pieces on the car are new. So I feel like it's a great time for me to kind of jump in, change up the wrap a little bit, and get him comfortable as fastly as possible. Laps were really good earlier today. Found a little bit of steering limitations and some other little things, but we're in the groove. Tuerck's super happy with how the car feels and how it's reacting to what we're doing, and the track is gaining grip throughout the day, so hopefully it just keeps doing that and we stay in the right pace.
Are you guys going to chase the fastest car out there this weekend?
Being the fastest car doesn't always win, I learned that. We got to get a car that's a lot for the driver and then get him comfortable in it. So that's usually what I do. I get the speed there and then we fine tune it to what he wants, because it's easier for him to tell me what he needs in the car when it's something he doesn't like than if he likes it.
Oh, yeah.
So here's a run with Odie leading, and Tuerck comes up a little shallow, has a little correction at outer zone 2. Does a good job about getting back in the pocket. and then has a really good transition in the last turn. Basically, I'm going to radio to him and tell him, hey, you got to be a little bit more patient leaving outer zone 1, so that way you can get yourself positioned in outer zone 2 so the judges enjoy the run like visually from the chase driver.
I don't think it actually affected you. I think it was just like it's practice and a little bit. Yeah,
I literally couldn't see anything.
for sure.
I think we need a power steering pump change.
Okay.
We got some heavy dead spots. I don't know. Like, right when I'm driving, most of like motor 3. Through that whole turn, it feels like it's in a weird spot where there's no power steering.
Just need something to help get the heat out a little bit.
Really hot. I can steer out of it, but it's like,
Yeah, well, we put more angle in it.
true, but this is no different from the last 5 years. And
That's the biggest they're making. Well, it is different from last time.
oh, I'm sorry, it is.
You're right.
You're right. Oh, maybe that could be it. It's whining a little bit. Maybe I'll have him check the temperature.
Yeah, that's okay. They got data for it. So
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah. What's up, dude?
What's up, dude?
How you doing?
Chill.
Good.
So you can see Ryan chasing Literal here. That's funny, it was Ryan Literal, but good positioning of the car. Could be a little bit deeper here, and then he does actually move out where he needs to be. There's some patience, and then coming through the smoke a little slow and positioning himself on the inside. So we were working later on. You can see him dragging the handbrake there a bit to help him stay a little bit wider through that section and allow the finish of the run to be strong. Here he goes into turn 1 with Dylan. If you see in the chase, Dylan kind of ran a little bit inside there from this spot. This angle is really cool to be able to get a shot here. And you can see Tuerck's also a little bit on the inside. He probably wouldn't have been at fault for this, but the judges really wanted to see you far away from the rumble strips in turn 1, leaving the door open. So in that particular run, and then you can see Dylan's way on the inside here, dragging the front tire, trying to get out wide. Tuerck's car is super adjustable. He does finally get his car out wide, but only at the end of the zone. Tuerck kind of follows in pace. So the goal was to just have a car that was really adjustable and let Ryan do a lot of the work. So here I am up in the tower, and basically I'm giving Ryan some last minute notes on what he needs to do in his lead run. So you'll basically see he flicks it in right at the wall outside, and he runs a little bit more inside line, and then gets out to outer zone 1. Outer zone 2 has about a foot. And then if you notice in the chase, Jack is way on the inside at outer zone 2 and 3, about a whole car length wise. And that's going to be a huge deduction because Ryan's doing everything he's supposed to be doing in the lead run, right on inner cliff leaving. Jack's proximity through the last turn's pretty good, but basically from outer zone 1 to the final turn, Jack was way off, and Ryan's lead run was really good except for about a foot off outer zone 3. Okay, then they're going to switch positions, and Jack's going to lead. Jack runs wide and has a little bit more room for Ryan. Ryan ends up on the inside. This is his big mistake in 1, and then ends up a little shallow at 2, but then gets back on line to 3. Jack has a hit on the wall that kind of disrupts Ryan's line a little bit. And then Ryan finishes off pretty strong. Proximity's not as good in the last turn, but overall in this battle, I voted this to be a one more time. I actually could see how Jack had slight advantage here, but in front of the judges, the most important part during this run, Jack is off proximity and never gets even close to outer zone 3, and that's a pretty heavy weighted area. So to me, it was one more time. I do see how some people could favor Jack on this run, and that's what I was telling Tuerck. that he should be happy he got the one more time, as you can see here, and he should be ready to improve for the next run. Turk's leading first again. He goes wide and then stays wide throughout here, doesn't really chop the inside, gets out to outer zone one, out about 2 feet off outer zone three, maybe three, about a foot off outer zone three. Jack is doing a good job, but just doesn't have the angle in the chase. His proximity is good, but if you notice throughout the whole run, his angle is about 40 to 60% of what Turk's is. And then we switch around. Jack has a really good initiation, goes wide, misses outer zone one by a foot, closer on outer zone two than Turk, but watch Turk's mimicking the line a little bit better and the angle a little bit better through that section throughout most of the track. And then Turk basically finishes with more angle going across the finish line than Jack. Looking at these again on the overhead, again, could go either way. I like Turk's consistency of proximity throughout the run, and this is kind of why I gave Turk the win on this second battle versus Jack. But I do see, again, there's some parts of it that Jack has better proximity, and if they're judging turn one being on the inside heavily, then this is obviously something that Turk has affected. So over the radio, I'm telling him, hey, we need to make sure that we are leaving the door wide open in turn one in this so that we can finalize this and win, because it's been so close on all of these. And if you do that and do the same thing, you'll win. And basically, that's what he does on this run. He leaves the door wide open, as you can see, gets on the wall in one, on the wall in two. This lead run is like pretty much textbook, about a foot off outer zone three. Jack is there at less angle and sacrificing some line. So as you can see across the finish lines, sacrificing both angle and line. Jack throws it in, goes really wide, leaves the door open. Turk has good, strong proximity through, a little off on one. Turk has an adjustment at two, and I believe that's because of how Jack left outer zone one. The proximity of the rest of this run from Turk, he's mimicking the line and the angle really, really, really well. Actually gives him a bump across the finish line while adding angle. So this one at the end, I think, definitely goes to Turk. And it's just strictly based upon, if you watch this overhead, the matching of angle and the consistency of the run filling the same zones except in two. So obviously Jack makes some mistakes in the chase and dives and gets past the line on the inside and doesn't get in the pocket. But also Jack has better proximity in turn one, but doesn't get out to outer zone one with him. So to me, this one goes to Turk. And it's probably a 60-40 scenario. It's not like Turk won by any large mean.
Absolutely.
Whew, top 32 was spicy. That was like almost the finals already. That was crazy. So 3 battles of Jack Shanahan, 2 one more times. The first one, I think that Turk got a little lucky. He made some mistakes, but I think his lead run was ultimately worth more. And then in the second run, I felt like Turk had a really big advantage and should have won, but they were really, really heavily weighing turn one and making sure that you leave the window open completely for the chase driver. So obviously in the radio, I'm like, look, we don't need to change anything, Ryan. You've basically won these last couple battles. It just needs you to run a little wider in turn one. He did that. I could see the judges were really excited about it. We got the win unanimously, which is really exciting, but this was a big, big push for top 32 to do 2 one more times. It was crazy. I was stressed. I was like, I breathe and am way calmer in the car driving this event than helping Turk try to win this event. So it's different. I'm learning. We're figuring it out. We're all in sync with ourselves, the car, the judges, and we're going to hopefully go all the way. All right, so here's the battle of the trailer pretty much. It's going to be Osbo versus Turk. Osbo's going to go ahead and throw it in. Good angle. Turk has great proximity on the inside. Osbo works the car out, misses outer zone one by a bit, outer zone two by just about a foot, not a big deal. Turk has great angle, great proximity, puts the car where it needs to, and then basically finishes about a half a car length back in the last turn. Just a little bit of timing there from Turk's end. And then Turk on the lead run, lights off, gets in the zone, all the way out, touches the wall, transitions, gets out, touches the wall again, misses outer zone three by about the same as Osbo, flicks it back, gets through, misses inner clip one by quite a bit, and Osbo has great proximity to the finish line. So this run was definitely an interesting one for me. I believe that it was a one more time because Turek's lead run was better than Osbo's. And Osbo had a really good chase, match the angle, but his proximity wasn't as good. So I bet it's about the same in terms of that. If you kind of look, it's very similar. Ryan maybe a little bit more aggressive, but then Osbo having a better chase across the finish line by a little bit, and also Osbo being closer on interclip one. So ultimately, like that's what ends up happening here, and we it goes to Osbo. If I had to do this again, I'd look at it on the overhead and what's going on in this run, and I obviously want Turek to win. I work with him, and obviously our goal is to win as a team. But the miss on interclip one being the only interclip is worth a lot. I feel like this should have been one more time, in my opinion, just because of the chase and the lead. I think Turek had just a little bit more, except at the finish line across interclip one, but that's where they put the value. So they ended up giving it to Osbo, mainly because of just the interclip. All right, so we are back in Florida. Um, I would use the term not the race weekend we wanted, but it's only the results at this point. Tuerck did an awesome job. The car ran amazing all weekend. The team did an engine swap at night really quickly, efficiently. It started off. The whole car was ready to rip the next morning perfectly. No real setbacks. And the team came together. Like, it's our first event together, and everyone was in sync. Everyone was doing what they needed to do. Everyone was passionate. Everyone was fighting the same fight, down to the content, the media, the driver, the crew, the whole Papadakis team. Everybody did a phenomenal job, and it's really cool to be a part of the team. It's very different for me to digest, so it's more stressful for me to be out there and helping Tuerck try to win a championship than it is driving to win a championship. Basically, like, it's all on the team and myself to get the car the best it can be, and then it's on me to kind of help Tuerck and walk him through some things and improve his capabilities and odds to win. But when he leaves the line, it's all up to him, and that's stressful to me because I'm used to it being the opposite. I'm used to working with my team, relying on everything, doing all this, and then once I'm leaving the line, it's all up to me. So I'm actually way less stressful when it's all up to me than watching somebody else. And I'm sure you guys can relate when you watch your favorite drivers out there at FD and you're like on the edge of your seat, like, come on, keep it together, do this, do that, and you're paying attention to all these runs. But I have to stay calm and like relay the information back to him and give him feedback on what he's doing. And when the car turns around really quickly, I have only about 30 seconds to get very clear thoughts to get his plan together and all that stuff. So it was an awesome experience. We have a team that can win, and a car and a driver that is ready to win and can win, and he's very motivated to do that. So let's keep this going. Obviously, if you're watching and want to follow Ryan, hit up his Instagram at Ryan Tuerck. Follow the progression. And like I said, I'm excited. It's very cool to have this from the other side, and it's cool to fight for a championship as someone who's helping someone rather than actually driving. So I'm really excited to see what else I can bring to the table throughout the season and keep this thing as tuned up as possible and Ryan as happy as possible behind the wheel, having as much fun as he can, because that's ultimately the goal. If you can win while you're having fun, dude, that's an unbeatable feeling. All right, guys, I'll see ya.